As you are perusing the syllabus of your history class, you come across an item called Annotated Bibliography. That sounds a little intimidating, doesn't it? 9 syllables, actually. These things are a little challenging, but students love them because an annotated bibliography can help you write a way better paper. And teachers love them because so much learning happens when you write one. In this video, you will find out what an annotated bibliography is, how to do one, and perhaps why they are so awesome. So what is an annotated bibliography? Well, first of all, it's a list. That's the bibliography part. It's a list of sources, books, book chapters in some cases, articles, websites, and they all address one particular topic. It's a list of all the main sources that you use to research a topic in preparation for an academic paper or some other kind of research project. And each entry in the list will be followed by a brief paragraph that summarizes and evaluates that source. That's right. The annotation for each source is usually around 200 words. Some instructors will want less, others will want more, but the norm is 150 to 300 words. Here is what an entry might look like. Just imagine this double-spaced. You see the source and where to find it up here. In the annotation, you have a summary of the source's argument or main points, and you end with an explanation about how this source is useful for your research. Explain how it connects to your paper or project. So let's get into some specifics. First, you have the full citation of the source in the required format. You know, MLA, APA, Chicago, whatever is the style requirement for your course and discipline. A very important note here, just like a regular bibliography or works cited page, the entries in your annotated bibliography will be arranged alphabetically, and the first line will be formatted with a hanging indent, and the whole thing will be double-spaced. Nothing more, nothing less. Everything double-spaced. After each entry, you will provide an annotation. This might include different things depending on the purpose of your annotated bibliography or depending on what your instructor requires. These annotations commonly include a summary of the source's main points or arguments, sometimes an evaluation of the relevance or reliability of the source, and the source's usefulness to your research. Remember, you want to include a source's main idea or its thesis and its main conclusions. Don't just make a list of what the source says. You need to explain why the information is important and how it supports the main idea. So if you search up how to write an annotated bibliography, you will sometimes find a step-by-step guide, like this one. Well, not exactly. In my experience, formulas like this don't work, unless you just want to pass the class. Most of us want more than 50%, and you will come to realize that you can't separate the writing of an annotated bibliography from the whole process of researching and outlining a paper, which I imagine, if explained by those same step-by-step people, would look like this. But that's not how to write a paper or an annotated bibliography. The truth of it is, all these things overlap and bleed into each other. So here's how it works for me, and where the annotated bibliography fits into the process. You start by identifying a general topic, and then you start reading up on that topic. Start with reading the more general sources to get the big picture, and then move into sources that are more specific and detailed. The specific direction you go has to do with the working thesis that is developing in your mind. You start catching glimpses of what you might want to argue in this paper. Research at this stage is about discovery, but even as you do this early research, you will begin to discern that some of these sources are better than others, more relevant, more credible. You begin to develop a sense about which of these sources can best help you with this or that part of your argument. You flag these for inclusion in your annotated bibliography, and as you clarify your thesis and begin to see how your argument might progress, you are doing some outlining at this stage. You come to identify gaps in your understanding, and you do more research to find out sources to fill those gaps. And if these are important or significant, you flag these for your annotated bibliography as well. As you get toward the end of this whole process, and the due date for your annotated bibliography is coming closer, you start finalizing that list of sources that will be included in your annotated bibliography. Of course, taking into consideration the requirement of the course for how many sources need to be in it. And then you write it. Check out my video on unity and coherence. That can be a great help, even here. Once you choose your sources, write the annotations. Check the formatting very carefully, and there you have it, an annotated bibliography. Once you've finished the annotated bibliography, you write your paper. The paper is so much easier if you wrestled meaningfully with your sources. And you wrestle meaningfully with your sources when you write an annotated bibliography. But don't sit down and write your paper right away. There's something else you need to do first. and you're going to like it. This video is about that. Thank you, and happy writing.